Hi, this is Sarah from sarayip.com with the amazing Tiarnie from Tiarnie Talks Astrology. We are going to be looking at 2026 from an astrology perspective and Tiarnie's perspective, which, to be honest, is more important than the astrology. I'm so grateful to be here with you, Tiarnie.
No, you're a treasure.
So we've known each other for quite some time, mutual admiration. And if you don't follow Tiarnie, you need to. It will change your life. And yeah, you'll never look at the planets in the world the same. Tiarnie's so unique, just so much passion for what she does. And her hair is like its own celebrity. Hello, Tiarnie's hair. Her crown
This is what
chakra
you get.
is
Yes, this is what you
magnificent.
get literally from having a Venus, which is planet of beauty, hair, exactly conjunct Algol, Medusa's head. You get the snake writhing, right? Like that is that conjunction. So welcome to my hair. Welcome to Medusa.
That's so interesting. I just want
Mm.
to talk about that now instead of 2026.
I
But
know, it's actually very fascinating. Yes, but we
so
have a lot to share and
we
talk about
do.
today, don't we?
So we're keeping it short and sweet, which
Yes.
is perfect for the energy of 2026, universal 10/1 year, which is about getting it done, letting shit go, really just moving on. And in numerology, we live in those 9 year cycles. And we know last time we had 2017, we had such huge things. We had the Me Too movement, we had Brexit, we had natural disasters, Trump started. So we know we're in for a doozy. At the same time, this type of conversation is designed to give you that comfort, that peace, that clarity. So listen carefully, everyone, because Auntie Tiani's in the house. Tiani, what's maybe the biggest, five-ish astrological things to look out for in the next year, if there is a possibility of getting them down to that few?
Well, I mean, you gave me a heads up. You asked me the little three questions that we're going to be touching on, which is great because I can channel that energy into the top five shifts. So, firstly, I want to say, of course, 2025 was a bit of a peak view into 2026 because we've had Saturn, Neptune, and Uranus all change signs in the same year, and that's rare and that's wild. And we felt that sort of mid part of 2025, just sort of like it's been a very chaotic nine as well, Sarah, as
Hmm.
you're always on my
I, I,
podcast
I always
talking about
call the
numbers.
nine, it's the old soul and the crazy makeup.
Yeah. And then depending on your own numerology within a nine too, because every collective nine for me, I'm in a personal five. And
Oh, wow.
whoa, it has been huge.
Yes. I
So
could
we're
feel I
actually
could
going to,
feel your throat chakra actually today. That's so interesting that you're in a 5 year, which is the same energy. Okay.
yeah, as the throat. Yeah. And ultimately, all I've done all morning for 2 hours is talk. So now I'm here for, you're interviewing me, and then we're going to switch places and
Yeah.
I'm going to interview Sarah.
Yeah.
So I just want to say that ultimately that sort of, Neptune settles into Aries in January, February, Saturn settles into Aries as well. Uranus in April will settle into Gemini. So we've already had the little sneak peek
Yeah.
in 2025, right? But so my top five shifts that I'm excited about. Firstly, Jupiter moves into Leo. So this is
Mhm.
exciting. This is a once in a 12-year cycle. Jupiter is exalted at the moment in Cancer and will move into Leo
Mhm.
in at the end of June. So
Mhm.
we go from like the maternal cosmic mother to all of a
Mhm.
sudden raw radiant light energy. And hello, it's a collective 1 year in the year of the fire horse. And
Yeah.
here's Jupiter, Zeus,
Mm.
our grandest, biggest planet moving into Apollo, the sun, the fire
Oh,
god.
that's interesting because, with the Chinese astrology, it's also 12 year cycles. It's fascinating. 12 or 60 years, depending on how you look at it.
That's exactly right. Yeah.
Mm,
So there is
okay.
the 60-year cycle. We haven't actually had
Mm.
a fire horse for 60 years. And now we're
Yeah.
going to also have Jupiter in Leo, plus, we're also having Saturn and Neptune in Aries. Mm.
So that's a lot
So
of
there
hot.
is a lot of
That's a lot of
fire.
hot stuff. And actually, it's interesting because 2017 was one of the warmest years on record, and I know that's certainly been a massive feature of Earth. As an environmental scientist, it's something I do follow, and you can just really
Yeah.
see it. Even social media is on fire, and everyone's got inflammation, and it's a real trend for humanity, isn't it? Okay,
Yeah, it is.
interesting.
And that's going to amplify next year. Jupiter is the planet of growth and expansion. He
Yeah.
he he magnifies whatever sign he's in. So, you know, I'm going to say those very, you know, main character energy people, the ego is going to be pretty deflated with, you know, whilst we might think Jupiter and Leo is going to go bigger egos, more,
Yeah.
more, more. Yes, but there's actually going to be a real pop of this sort of main character energy. You know,
Nah,
it's going to
I can see
deflate
it.
all of
It's
that.
already starting to happen. I mean, you could, yeah, starting to see it a little bit in the States. But it's so fascinating you say that Mugabe was deposed in 2017. And look, I just keep feeling that we're going to win the unwinnable battles in 2026. There's going to be a lot of surprises
Mm,
because there's a lot of energy coming from the new generation and everyone who they're actually very tech savvy and they're actually very conscious. They were
mm.
born conscious. Like they chose to come to the planet at a time it was at its 11th hour. So yeah, there's a turnover. So back to
Mm.
you. Okay, so lots of fire energy. What else is
Lots of
going on?
fire. I really love so Lilith is also in Sag. So Lilith is this, you know,
Mm,
this part of ourselves that's around sovereignty and primal
mhm,
power, right? It's the exiled part of us. And so this year in 2025, we've had Lilith deep in Scorpio in the year of the snake. So
okay.
we really have had to reclaim these exiled parts. But
Mm,
all of a sudden, she is going to ride the friggin' centaur. She's going to ride the horse in the fire horse year in Sag. And people like Cher and Bowie and Freddie Mercury and Trump
oh,
all have Lilith in Sag. So we're going to see
oh,
some
wow.
really big sort of like, what are we talking? We're talking freedom and rights. And Lilith on her friggin' horse is going to be a very wild sort of like, what are you fighting for? Are you a freedom fighter? For what reason? I sort of was like, at what cost? You know, but there is this element of we're going on a sacred quest. And so I really see after us coming up from the underworld, which was 2025 and the
Mm,
snake and Lilith in Scorpio,
mm,
Venus has been moving and descending down into the underworld all of
mhm.
2025 as well. So there has been this descent feeling.
Yeah,
But then Lilith comes to the upper world. She's riding her horse. It's the fire horse. We've got Venus ascending from January. So
yeah,
Venus will now be reclaiming as she ascends and she becomes an evening star. So
mhm.
the alignment to all of these is just exquisitely beautiful. So we're
Yeah,
going to be reclaiming parts and we're going to be on our own quest of self after we've sort of had to go into that underworld, like Persephone's journey of being
yeah,
in the underworld. And now we're coming like renewed. And, you know, I'm calling 2026 rebirth and rise, you know, like
yeah,
it is about rebirthing and rising. So that for me, Lilith in Sag is also a really exciting transit that we get for, you know, a big part of the year until
yeah.
September.
That fits so well with the one energy, which is all about conception, pregnancy, birth, your birth story, the choosing of the body and the planet and the parents, and just the original reason that you came here. I love all the synchronicities. I have to admit,
Same.
the whole Lilith on a horse sounds a bit sexual, and ones are known for having a one-track mind. And I do think there's something there about making sure that we don't sort of delegate all our feelings to AI and computers and phones, and still have some sort of connection with ourselves.
That is
Not need machines to do everything for us.
Yes, Sarah, that is a really important too. Think about your body and visceral emotions and raw, primal, sexual, creative.
Mm,
We're humans. Like, let's stay emotionally connected to each other and to
yeah,
ourselves. And that is right. Like, I feel that too. And whilst we've been unraveling the snake and the coil and the serpentine warming up this year, it's like, right, like, are you going to sacrifice your soul and your physical humanness to these computers? I mean,
mm.
it's laughable that people are like, ChatGPT said I'm this, and I go to it for a
I
fucking
get a
minute. It's
lot of
blah,
people
blah,
who
blah.
say they're like, "Hey Sarah, I don't need to see you because I literally just put it in my chat GPT and look at the reading I got." And I'm like,
That
"You're like
is
half of that is my blog and this other, and there's no
exactly.
accountability and there's no one to ask about the nuances, and it's really tricky because it tastes good, so it's like that fast food thing." And
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate that it does create accessibility and there's definitely merits to it, but just
Mm.
that sense that you can replace a person With a computer, I mean,
It's
we see it
junk.
everywhere.
It's junk food. It's junk energy. It's people going, oh, I look at these astrology apps every day. Give me my hit. Tell me
Yeah.
8 million things that's going on with the moon.
Yeah.
Fucking, if you're not embodying and embracing your humanness and understanding your own
It just
chart
it
or
just feeds
numerology,
it just feeds the head, and then
yeah,
we find that we have no traction, our manifestations fall flat. And most of all, people don't listen to us because honestly, we're not listening to our inner selves, our inner
exactly.
voices. So there's got
Mm,
to be a sense of balance, but it is difficult when there's so much pressure to keep up. And I feel
mm,
like that, slow is the rebellion, really. And in that 1 year, there's so much here about just one step at a time, one moment at a time,
mm,
because that's the difference between a leader is just how they use that second differently.
mm.
So anyway, back to you. Okay, so basically
I
what
love
you
that
said
one step at
is,
a time.
well, the 12 steps is one day at a time, and there's a lot of correlation with chakras and things. And
Mm,
I guess what I wanted to notice about what you're saying is it's such a different year to 2025. And
so
really,
different.
I feel like there's such an important seg we need to make in that next, whether it's 6 or 8 weeks when both of us are doing a lot of teaching, that we
Mm,
do set aside what happens this year. And we do think of it like, leaving high school, going to university, or for our gap year, because otherwise we won't get that benefit of that
mm,
flow that's really coming in fast from the early months.
yeah, yeah, I agree.
Mm.
Yeah. I want to say before we move on to the next question that you've got prepped for me,
Oh,
just two other quick things that I'm
yeah,
excited about.
yeah.
The nodes are shifting. So the ecliptic nodes are shifting from Pisces, Virgo to Leo and Aquarius. This is
Mhm.
massive. Like this is
Yay.
huge. This is a
Yay.
huge shift.
Says the Aquarian.
Um, that says the Aquarian. So we're going to actually have the South Node, which is past and karmic drudge and in Leo with Jupiter. And so this is a very fascinating dichotomy that I'm going to speak a lot more of as we move through the year. That's an incredible shift to look out for July, August. And then in June, Chiron, who is also the centaur, so we're back on the horse train,
Wowzers.
is finally moving out of fiery Aries for the first time in years since
Mhm.
2018. We're having another big shift
Mhm.
from this fire sign to earth. And so what I'm really looking at here is this is people are actually going to be craving embodied sacred medicine keepers.
Yeah.
Taurus is the fixed earth sign, the only fixed earth sign. I am a Taurus, of course. And we hold this energy, and this is around somatic sustenance, sacred somatic, like the medicine is you and you
Mm.
are the medicine. And so now instead of people sort of like going, I want to go to these, like fancy healers, they're going to start turning within or go to experienced practitioners. So
Yeah.
I think that that's a really nice set off for there's going to be again those very mental people, like you said, it's very
Mental
mind going,
people. Bless
well,
them.
mind stuff, cerebral,
Mm.
trying to do AI and chat GPT and getting all their information off there. But then really we're turning back to the earth. The Chiron will be the only planet in like at the outer planet in an earth sign for a chunk of time because Chiron does move back into Aries. So I really love this shift for us, that we're coming back into self-medicine, our inner resources, sacred earth magic, and seeking out embodied healers, embodied teachers, and not AI. So there's going to be it's going to be quite interesting to see this circling back to the humanness, to the raw, real humanness, which I'm so excited about. So there are a couple of other little ones
Yeah,
that
I
I'm
mean,
excited about.
again, it is a 10 year, and that's really the beginning and the ending. And as a baby, we're based, the cells in the womb, we are creating ourselves, and we continue to repair billions, trillions of cells all the time. And
Mm,
so we really are very, very clever and very, knowledgeable. And we live with our bodies 24/7, as opposed to a specialist who might see us for an hour every 6 months. So there's got to be some sort of acknowledgement that that lived experience is more important sometimes than qualifications or Instagram followers. And I get such a strong sense of people looking for those who have stayed the distance in
yeah,
2026, which will
absolutely.
include folks like you and me have been hanging in there by thread how many times. But
Well,
yeah,
it's
one
it's
can
it's
only hope.
never It's an interesting thing. It's the people that this is just who they are. Like this isn't a business. This is just how I've lived my entire life. So it's not even a question for me, like this is who I am. Nothing changes. I talk to you and then the person I have coffee with, I'll talk to the same. My family,
Yeah.
we're sitting around talking about astrology. This isn't just like, and it's those people again with all of this Leo energy coming up and all of this dissolving energy that we're in, like all of these false prophets and false gurus who have sort of come in to hook into this sort of dimension. They're I've seen so many of them, they're crumbled, like their businesses are
Yeah,
nothing,
I kind of love Google review. I love Glassdoor. I love all this stuff because you can totally get that honest perspective of what happens in sessions, or like you really get a lot of information from Reddit and things like that. And I love the accountability, even though it's a little scary, when people review you, but you never knew that before in the 80s and 90s. Like you just had to go on what they said on their website or their pamphlet. I love that part of the information era. So basically, from what you said, the people watching this will be just fine. And are probably actually going to have a bumper year because most of them, I would say, are change makers. What's the month that you're most looking forwards to? Or if there
Okay,
is
so
month?
I've got a couple of months here that I just want to highlight. So Aquarius, Pisces, and Aries season are pretty huge next year. Like all three of those seasons from late January
Yeah.
right through till, into Aries season, because
Mhm.
huge amounts of energy are in Aquarius and then in Capricorn. In Pisces and in Aries. It's very interesting. But a couple of months that I've also sort of like looked at is January. We've got like a Mars, Venus, cazimi both at the same time, which is quite rare. Again, I don't think that if people are like, new year, new me, no, there is no, we don't even get a 1 month until September in
True.
2026,
True.
planets are retrograde right through until
We have
March.
to we have to wait an entire gestation period of 9 months to get it. It's so perfect.
Exactly. It
Yeah.
is. So it's not going to be everything, and especially with Venus and Mars both making a cazimi, which means they're being burnt up by the sun ultimately. So you might not have the energy you thought you were going to have, or that real gut. So realistically, for me, it's actually equinox, when the sun moves into Aries. No planets are retrograde from then. So
Is
the
that
whole
around
first
April?
three
Is that around
months,
April?
it's the end of March.
Oh, because I kept feeling April's really the month. That's so interesting. End of
No,
March.
so the end of March is equinox, and that's when that's the astrological new year, and all planets are stationed direct then. So there's no retrograde planets. August is a huge month. It is a 9 month to start with.
Yeah.
It's eclipse season, and the nodes lock into where they're going to be for the next 18 months. I
Okay.
also want to say March is pretty epic because mental health stuff, we've got a
Yeah.
lot of things going on there.
Mm,
And June is just big because we've got like some big shifts, like
mm,
Venus moves into Leo, which is exciting. Jupiter
yeah.
moves into Leo.
Mm.
Chiron makes that shift into Taurus, and Mars moves into Gemini. So it's going to be a really eclectic and interesting month, June. So when I was writing my kit, I was like, yeah, 2026 is so different to 2025,
Yeah.
and it is.
Yeah.
But there's still some pretty big energetic months. August is definitely huge because it's a 9 as well. But
Right.
yeah, it's a very interesting year. It's a
It
big
is.
year.
I feel like 2025 was that older child who's really, feels like they have to do all the things and then they burn out and then they realize that life is for living. And then I feel like 2026 is that surprise child that they didn't think they were going to have. And they're so quirky and they eat all your cookies and they reprogram all your tech. And then they
I love
somehow
that.
like break the ATM so they get infinite money. And I feel like it's such an interesting year. And I feel like, because I love working with families, I feel like the quirky children are going to have a field day. I reckon they're going to be in the media. There's going to be like all kinds of stuff where they're just like, this kid is half my age and 3 times as smart, because I've
Wow.
just been seeing that coming through the ranks for years with all the readings. And for
Mm.
a living, I do monthly forecasts. And so I've done a lot of forecasts for people through November, December, January, right through next year. They've all had a slowdown in January. Every single one, when I pull the tarot, every single one. So I've said to them all, it's not really a big bang start to the year. It's this kind of just this little heartbeat, this
Mm.
little pulse. and it's just so much more sustainable because we are setting up that whole 9 year cycle. I mean,
Absolutely. I love that.
yeah,
Yeah.
thanks so much. Your astrology is incredible. Do you have any, I guess, last tips for people wanting to ground themselves, to really be present for these fairly eclectic energies?
Very eclectic. I would say ultimately, because there is no Earth really in these outer planets,
Yeah.
finally for a lot, like which, we've been in, it is important to stay really, I mean, if you've done some good work on yourself, I mean, 2026 can be very exciting, but it's also
Yeah.
going to be quite life-changing and erratic as well. So being sovereign and autonomous to yourself and trusting your own self and not, seeking external anything all the time, like
Mhm.
turn within and ground your energy. And because a lot of people are very like, oh, that happened, so now I'm like this. It's like actually observe and don't absorb things and be really focused on you, not in a selfish way, because hello, we're getting all the Leo stuff, but be really anchored into your inner voice, what you want. Turn the mirror on the self. And I do want to just say that we are having all 3 Mercury retrogrades next year in water signs. So this is
Wow.
again turning us inward, so out of the head and into the heart. The water can put out the fires, so
Mm.
you do want to be mindful of taking on too much, burning out, doing too many things, scattering your energy.
Yeah.
Less is more, less is more. Simplify your life and it will
Mm.
be easier.
Yeah, so well spoken. I'm really grateful, Tiarnie. And I urge you all to follow Tiarnie and check out her 2026 kit and her workshops. And I'll put all the links below. And I look forward to, making more magic with you soon. So yeah, thanks.
Absolutely,
Thanks
Sarah.
always. And just for the record, Tiarnie is a Master 33, which is the butterfly effect, and the big mouth. So
That is something that I have, a very big mouth.
and I'm an 11, which is duality and, well,
And we're a 44 together, and I'm
we
44 years old this at the
oh,
moment.
that's a very special age.
It is a
You,
special
when you
age.
do get two master numbers together, it can kind of go horribly right or horribly wrong.
It's always been horribly right for us, even when we conjure up major storms or whatever we do, darling.
Yeah. We tried to meet yesterday, and there was like the biggest storm that's ever happened, and I thought, yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be right.
Yeah. And
Because
so we're coming here this morning and like we're just like I'm just
the
about to
after,
we're
it's
going to
like the
swap spaces
aftermath.
and I'm going to interview Sarah. So this has been wonderful. Thank you for sharing me with your community. I know that we have a lot of people in our own communities that love us
Yeah.
both, and that's thanks to us just always
Hi,
championing each
everyone.
other. Yes. Hello, everyone. Love you all.
Thanks so much. So I'm going to be getting this up ASAP as part of my 2026 forecast series. And if you love it, leave a comment below.
Mm.
Thanks a million. See you next time. Bye.
Bye.